Maria Robotnik. Okay, so if you're familiar with Sonic Adventure and Sonic X, you probably know Maria Robotnik, or you're probably familiar with the character. She appeared in Sonic X as a flashback to Shadow, or like it was an episode involving Shadow, and she appears in the series, and it's kind of similar to that of Sonic Adventure. Like things that happen in Sonic X, they do share like some events with Sonic Adventure. Okay, so Maria Robotnik was Shadow's friend who ended up sacrificing their life to save Shadow. Okay. Maria Robotnik is the granddaughter of Gerald Robotnik and the cousin of Dr. Eggman. Born on Earth, Maria suffered from a terminal illness with no known cure. To save Maria, Gerald brought her aboard the space colony Ark to keep her condition in remission while he worked on Project Shadow in hopes of developing a cure. Gerald's research produced Shadow the Hedgehog, with whom Maria became close friends. When Gunn later shut down the Ark, Maria was killed by a gun soldier while trying to assist Shadow in his escape from the colony. Her passing had a major impact on Shadow's psyche and proved to be an event that would strongly influence the fate of the world in the decades that followed. It has been implied that Maria comes from a long line of brilliant scientists. She was born on Earth, and when she was young, she traveled to Spagonia with her family. Sometime after, Maria contracted the incurable and fatal disease neuroimmunodeficiency syndrome. As a result of this, her grandfather Gerald Robotnik brought her aboard the Ark in order to try and develop a cure for her illness. Due to her illness, which left her frail and weak, Maria needed constant attention, which meant she could not leave the Ark's hospital, leaving her confined in space. Additionally, her condition was only mitigated by the low gravity aboard the Ark, further confining her to the station. Despite getting medical help, Maria only grew weaker over time. While looking down at the Earth from the Ark, Maria developed an interest in it and longed to return home. On board the Ark, Maria was looked after and cared for by her grandfather. Maria came to mean everything to Gerald, and the two of them would work and live together on board the Ark. Maria also befriended a young boy named Abe, whom she would play with. In an attempt to save Maria's life, Gerald, who was the greatest scientific mind of the time, agreed to work on Project Shadow, a government project for creating an immortal life form. The reason for this was that Gerald believed that he could make a cure for Maria's illness with the creature they sought to make. Gerald's research eventually led to the creation of Shadow the Hedgehog, an immortal and powerful creature who received a soul identical to Maria's. Maria's eventually befriended Shadow, and they grew very close to each other while raised together. Maria remained by Shadow's side, and they would spend their time together, gazing down upon the Earth from the Ark's control room, wondering what the planet was like and wishing to visit it. At one point, she encountered Shadow looking at a death leech. After hearing the black hedgehog express a degree of self-loathing due to essentially being created from the Black Art's DNA, Maria assured him that he possesses a heart and that he'll eventually find people who he can care for. Maria saw the events of the Aurora Borealis and inherently had Shadow come with her to see its beauty. Because she and her assignment ended up over-celebrating herself, she had a brief fainting spell from her condition. Afterwards, Maria and Shadow had a shared discussion of living on Earth. She also confronted Shadow when he expressed frustration at how despite being created to cure maladies, they still haven't found the process to cure Maria yet. Maria assured her friend that she was nevertheless happy to spend time with him. However, Shadow and Maria then witnessed the violent escape of another of Gerald's research project, the Gizoid, as well as it heading directly for Gerald Robotnik's laboratory, prompting him to request Shadow to save her grandfather. Shadow then vowed to save Gerald and return in one piece. When the artificial chaos went on a rampage on board the space colony Ark, Maria sought out Shadow to help save the Ark. Shadow complied with Maria's wishes, saying that he would do anything to protect her and the Ark, and the artificial chaos crisis was soon out there, averted by the combined forces of Shadow and Gun. When the government began growing suspicious about Project Shadow, Gerald prepared a contingency video for Shadow when he told the Black Hedgehog about Project Shadow's imminent shutdown and about how he was meant to defeat the Black Orange, an evil alien race who helped create Shadow. When the eclipse came, when they returned in 50 years to conquer Earth. During the recording, Maria joined her grandfather and promised to help Shadow protect the planet alongside him. Sometime after the completion of Project Shadow, Maria's peaceful existence was shattered when Gunn attacked the space colony Ark to eliminate everything and everyone related to the project, as the military had come to believe that Project Shadow was too dangerous. Meeting up with her grandfather during the attack, Maria was entrusted with Shadow by Gerald, who told her to escape the Ark with Shadow in some escape capsules. While Gerald distracted Gun, Maria Shadow tried to escape the raid, but Maria was unwilling to leave the other research in the captivity of Gun and pleaded Shadow to help them. After Shadow had made his decision, he and Maria continued onward, but were attacked by a heavy dog on their way to the escape capsules. But were attacked by a heavy dog on their way to the escape capsules. Fortunately, Shadow defeated the heavy dog, allowing him and Maria to resume their escape. Eventually, Maria and Shadow got to the Ark escape pods in the research center. There, Maria saved Shadow by annotating his escape pod's launch with him in it. However, the Gun soldiers were right behind them. Maria ended up being mortally wounded by a Gun soldier's gunshot. With her last strength before saying goodbye, Maria asked Shadow to protect the world for her sake and give everybody a chance to be happy, just as the Black Hedgehog was jettisoned from the Ark. Afterwards, as Maria perished, her last words were, "Bring hope to humanity." Okay, so that was the tragic story of Maria Robotnik. Okay, so was just really heartbreaking about this was she was like going through something that was really complicated. She had like a type of illness that needed to be treated, and her grandfather wanted to help and tried to help the best way that he could. And also, she was also one of Shadow's first friends, and he grew like close to her. So it's just really unfortunate what happened to Maria Robotnik, because like it's just like she was just really going through a bunch of complicated stuff. And it's really, I understand why Shadow was like confused a little bit. Maybe her death caused like something to break in him. He probably couldn't handle her being killed like that in front of him. Yeah, but even in her last moments, she was helping others and making sure everybody was safe, and trying to protect anybody, you know, putting Shadow before her. And I believe Maria Robotnik, man, I believed it, like, her life was just really cut short, and it just, like, everything that she was going through, it was just like a complicated time for her, but she saw, like, she saw hope. That's what she saw hope. And in the end, even though it got scary, she was willing to put her life on the line to protect others. Without her contribution, Shadow probably wouldn't have the, like, the motivation and, like, the aid to keep going to protect the earth like Maria asked him to. And I feel like she contributed to making Shadow, like, aid others and help others. I think that's the reason why he helped others, is because of Maria and their relationship. But yeah, that's the story of Maria Robotnik. Is very tragic, and like when I first like heard about this, I think it was a long time ago or a while back, but I wasn't really familiar with it. I think I was only familiar with it because I saw it in Sonic X, but I really didn't know like the full background of Maria's story at the time. But you know, I eventually figured it out later down the line. But let me know what you guys think. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time in the next video.